Anna's excited. One of you posted on, I forget which post it was, but I was looking at comments and I saw that there was a hey, heads up, this website, they have a post about Anna. And
An article.
Yeah, I didn't realize it was an article. I thought it was just them sharing the video of the interview.
It's like a link or something? Or...
Yeah, it was just a link. And actually, the link wouldn't work for me. Like, I tried to go to it multiple times, and it wouldn't work. And so, oh, you got it? So I just Googled it because someone else, I think Mariella, had asked about it. And she was like, oh, yeah, it's this website. And so I just Googled it, like AMC Princess Anna or maybe Team AMC Anna on the website name, and I found the article. So let me show them real quick. So it's this website called Goalcast. They're out of Canada. They basically, whoops, it's not focusing. Can you guys see that? It doesn't want to focus. It's not going to focus for real. There we go. So basically they take content from around the internet and they, write articles or share it. So yeah, pretty cool. They found the SBSK story, and it's funny because a lot of times nowadays, if someone writes an article about you, so we had this experience actually. Do you want to tell them about when we went out for your birthday and we had that interview?
Yeah. So there was one of the various publications was trying to they wanted to write a story about Anna, or she was featured in it, right?
The whole thing, yeah. Oh yeah, it was called
kid
yeah.
So kid influencers. So the reporter, I guess, or journalist, took the talked to Anna and asked us questions and got some information.
You remember?
No.
Really?
Oh no, we were at the house in Homosassa,
yeah,
where we stayed when we took Daddy to swim with the manatees.
Yeah.
And she called. She's from it's a publication in the UK.
Yeah.
And she called and she interviewed all three of us, and she wrote an article about us. Mm-hmm. But there was so much wrong.
Yeah,
like I never shared it because there was so much misinformation in there.
Yeah, that was just like, I don't know where she came, like either misinterpreted or didn't hear right or didn't just put kind of filled in the gaps. I'm not sure really what happened, but
there were a couple things that she had asked us that she just got wrong. I don't know how, but then there were other things where she kind of like filled in some gaps on her own.
But it was not right. It was she chose the wrong scenario or something.
So anyway, my point being that this article was written by, what's her name? Amber.
Dowling.
It's on the last page.
No, it's on the front page.
Dowling.
Amber Dowling.
Yeah.
Amber Dowling of this Goalcast, and she got everything right. She spelled Anna's name right. She spelled arthrogryposis right. She got all the details right. Like, it was amazing. So very impressive. Thank you, Amber. If you see this, for that, we appreciate it so much, because you never get to like review the stuff before it goes out there.
Even if they talk to you, even if you,
yeah. So anyway, Anna hasn't read this yet. Aaron and I found it because one of you shared it in the comment section. And we read it, but Anna hasn't read it. So Anna's going to read it to you all and read it for herself for the first time.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead.
An 8-year-old with a genius IQ is told she's too smart to have autism. An 8-year-old girl is changing the narrative on autism. Autism spectrum disorder, ASD, continues to be a misunderstood neurodevelopmental disease, and people who have it present it in many different ways. As a result, there are many prejudices and mistakes that people can make in association with it, particularly when it comes to young girls. That's why the story of an 8-year-old girl named Anna is so powerful. Thanks to an enlightening interview with the child, she's making headlines for breaking stereotypes. The world was introduced to Anna in late March when Special Books by Special Kids shared a video interview with her. In it, people met the bright 8-year-old who has a genius IQ and holds memberships in the David Young Scholars Community and Mensa.
Slow down.
Yeah,
Don't
you're
get tongue-tied.
you're tripping over your words.
Anna is homeschooled and has already completed grade 4. She's also fluent in English and Spanish and has created a fictional purple planet called Hypatia. It has its own ecosystem and societal structures.
Societal. That
Societal
means like the
structures.
people on your planet, the society.
Did she mention about the Hypathians?
Read it.
Doesn't look like it. It says one day Anna wants to become an astrophysicist and study space. This child also happens to have ASD and a physical disability called arthrogryposis, which affects the joints in all 4 of her limbs. However, she thinks that makes her even more special. Having all of those things is really just a blessing to me, she said. I want myself to be different. I really like everything about me. And then this next whole section says, breaking preconceived notions. Anna says people often comment that she's too smart to have autism. However, she really wants to know that one thing has nothing to do with the other. According to Anna's mom, many people have these preconceived notions because most people's exposure has been to children with ASD levels 2 or 3. I need a drink. They're used to seeing maybe some of the ways children find it difficult to express themselves when they have autism, or the ways that they need to express themselves. Or the ways that they need to express themselves because they're nonverbal or they're struggling with overstimulation and things of that nature.
Mm-hmm.
As a result, she said people look at Anna and say crazy things like she speaks too well to be autistic, or she doesn't look autistic, or she reads too well.
Mm-hmm.
Just because a child can't communicate verbally doesn't mean they're not intelligent, she added. Highly intelligent, in fact. I think people just need to understand, There's a saying in the community, if you know one person with autism, you know one person with autism. By sharing their story, Anna and her parents hope they can shed more light on ASD and help others understand that each child with autism is unique. Everybody's different, and I want everyone out here and watching to respect everybody else with their differences, Anna said. Everybody should be different. I think everybody should be happy just the way they are.
I don't know if Chris realized it when he was editing this video. I'm sure he didn't realize it when he was doing the interview. But this month is Autism Awareness Month,
Right.
so it was good timing.
Good timing,
Yeah. And now,
Go ahead and finish.
yeah, I got to get my hand right. As Anna herself said, everybody should be different, but it's only when we embrace those differences that we can truly learn from one another and grow as people. Her story is a nice reminder that intelligence comes in many different forms, and we should never assume to know how someone truly is without getting to know them first. When you've only seen certain portrayals of disease and disorders in the past, it can be tough to move forward and break stereotypes. But by asking questions, keeping an open mind, and reminding ourselves that there is a lot we don't know about any given subject, change is definitely possible.
It's a good article.
Yeah, it's good.
If you guys want to read it for yourself, or if you want to read it again, or if you want to share it, I shared the link in the community space, so you can find it there and go to their site and share it from their site. What do you think? What do you think about it? It's a well-written article, right?
Yes.
You like it?
You need to share that. I'm mighty.
I did.
Really?
The article?
Yeah.
That's what I just
First
said to
thing,
them. I literally just told them that if they want to share it or read it again, they can go there and find it. Yep, I shared it last night, actually. Thank you, Sharon, for the super sticker.
Thank you.
Okay, so I think tonight Anna was just going to make some more progress in this awesome book that she's been reading to you guys.
The Spectrum Girls Survival Guide. How to Grow Up Awesome and Autistic.
We highly recommend. Gosh, the camera just does not want to focus. Sorry, guys. I don't know why it's doing this. But we highly recommend this book. It's on our Amazon affiliate site if you're interested. And it's a really good book. And she's not made it, actually. We've got quite a ways to go yet. So she's going to be reading it for a few more lives. But, oh gosh, thank you, Denise, for the super sticker. Thank you, Regina, so much. So yeah, I guess we'll just get going so we don't waste any time.
Okay.
Just make sure you slow down and enunciate so you're not slurring everything together, okay? Because people really like to hear this information. I'm gonna move the microphone closer. It might be in the camera view, but make sure you guys can hear her.
Okay, here we go. We're on chapter 5. You ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Is everybody else ready? I know you are. Okay. Chapter 5. Managing your sensory sensitivities and sensory overloads.
Oh, good chapter.
Wait, are you telling the chapter like good dog?
No, I'm saying it's really good information.
Okay. Having sensory sensitivities is a large part of being autistic. Our sensory issues will never go away. Not being able to filter sensory information can be intolerable, especially at the end of a long day when our defenses have been weakened. Sensory overloads negatively impact us, physically and emotionally. Yet since most neurotypicals don't experience sensory overloads, they cannot fully understand how distressing, overwhelming, and painful they can be.
I zoomed in so they can see you better, but I have to leave Daddy in frame because YouTube doesn't want you on camera by yourself. So there's like part of Daddy in the edge of the frame.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. No, he's fine. He's fine. It's good. Go ahead.
Okay. I hate supermarkets. I hate the assault of sickly, pungent, acrid, musty, and sour smell.
Acrid. It's like a strong burning kind of smell. Like when you smell a fire, it burns your nose.
Musty and sour smells from fruits and vegetables, mixing with cheese and fish and cleaning products. I hate the screechy wheels of metal shopping carts rattling down the aisle. I hate the bright lights, the claustrophobia including cluttered shelves crammed with multicolored products, and the drastic temperature variations between the different aisles. That is one thing I don't like about it. I don't like being near the freezer section or the fridge section because I just am so cold.
Michael, thank you so much for the super sticker or the super chat. It says, thank you for bringing awareness to autism and AMC, Nana, Anna, Aaron, and Jameli.
Thank you.
It's actually a super chat.
Mm-hmm.
Because
it's a super chat because instead of sending a sticker, he sent a message.
Okay.
Go ahead.
It says, I hate having to be hyper-vigilant. Hyper-vigilant for excited and energetic young children who may accidentally brush up against me. I hate being in constant fear that there will be a defining loudspeaker announcement. I hate the glaring lights, the crinkling of plastic bags, the squelching of footsteps on the glossy floors, and the impatient queue at the checkout counter.
You get a cold read.
Yeah, if I can. Where was I? The list goes on and on and on. It's all too much. The sensory overload can be so overpowering that I desperately want to cover my ears, curl up in a ball, and shut out the world. I have a lot of sympathy for autistic children and young people who are overcome by all the noise and smells and crowds and chaos, especially the autistic child who withers on the floor in distress because their sensory overload is unbearable. Much too often, neurotypicals assume that we're misbehaving, spoiled, and overindulged. They may even blame our parents for not disciplining us. But that's what most neurotypical people don't know. But what most neurotypical people don't know is that having a reaction to sensory overload is very traumatic and painful, and it is often beyond our control. It can also be extremely embarrassing for the person going through it, especially since many of us are highly aware that some of our reactions are not considered normal and that people are judging us. Sometimes, when I'm very distressed and close to a situation, I talk aloud to myself. I'll tell myself that it'll be okay. I recite positive and affirming statements to try to calm and soothe myself. I need to talk aloud because there's too much noise and clutter inside my head. Unfortunately, to neurotypicals who are observing me talking to myself, it may look as if I'm delusional or under the influence of alcohol or drugs.
Are you racing?
No.
Or do we have a deadline?
No.
Slow
Yeah,
it down.
I mean, yes, before midnight.
Slow it
Her
down.
brain's running faster than her mouth.
Slow it down. Slow it down.
I'm thirsty again. I'm always so thirsty because I don't have hydration water.
So I was angling for the flavored
The
water.
flavor. Mhm.
It's just
All right,
I'm not so thirsty.
let's keep on task. We don't need to get into a conversation about hydration water right now.
Even though my behavior is mortifying, if talking aloud to myself helps me survive a sensory overload, then that's what I'm going to do.
Mhm. Thank you for the super sticker, Julie.
Thank you.
Thank you. Trying to build up sensory tolerance and ignoring sensory sensitivities does not work. However, there are definitely things that can be done to manage your sensory sensitivities so that they have less of a negative effect on our daily life. Below are some suggestions. Create a sensory survival kit. What? That's weird. In my sensory survival kit, I always have a headset. Always. I find that listening to music is the key to surviving sensory intolerances. I have several roll-on aromatherapy oils to neutralize tasty
Aromatherapy oils.
aromatherapy oils.
Thank you, Karen, for the super sticker.
Thank you. What was I? To neutralize many smells, nasty smells. I particularly like lavender and ginger. I roll the oil onto my nose to block out unpleasant smells.
That's a really good. I never thought of that.
That's
That's an amazing tip. You use yeah. Wow. Thank you so much, Pam, for the super sticker.
Thank you.
Susan says, I actually relate to some of this. I really have trouble with the music blasting in the grocery store. I rush through as fast as I can.
Okay, where was I? I have Tiger Balm to rub on my skin in case someone accidentally bumps into me. I find the methanol cools, tingles, and soothes the area. I always have 2 pocket-sized tissue packets, which I place in the 2 back pockets of my jeans so I can create a seat cushion when I'm sitting in an uncomfortable chair for a long time. I have wet wipes because I hate getting sticky and powdery substances on my hands.
That's both
me.
of you. That's both of you.
That's mostly me, though. I do not one bit like getting my hands messy.
See, and that's a good example of how it's different for each person that's autistic. They don't have the same traits because I don't mind getting my hands messy or sticky at all. Like, it doesn't bother. Well, I like to wash them off if they're sticky, but like, I don't freak out about it.
It's not going to make you screeching.
Not like other things do. You guys get panicky about sticky hands. I get panicky about other types of stimulus.
I have a methanol lip balm because I just like the sensation of having dry lips.
Menthol,
yeah.
Menthol lip balm.
I also have extra hair bands, which I can discreetly use to fidget with when I get distressed. I have heartburn medication. I always carry a snack. Your survival kit may look completely different from mine. The important thing is to include items that will help to neutralize some of the unpleasant sensory experiences you regularly encounter. I am always adapting my survival kit for different situations. For example, I changed my survival kit to adapt to seasonal changes and for air travel.
Sharon says, I actually get angry outside when there are loud cars or motorcycles. I can't handle it, but I have no diagnosis, so I wonder why. So that's just a good example. And Aaron, too. Aaron is not autistic, but he still has really, heightened sensory overload when his hands are sticky. Sharon has it with the loud sounds of the cars going by. Just because you have a similar trait to someone who is autistic, like one similar trait, has nothing to do with, it doesn't mean you're autistic. It doesn't mean that they're not autistic. It just means that you share that one thing. In order to be diagnosed autistic, you have to have multiple traits across multiple categories, and they have to affect your day-to-day life. And you have to have tested that, and you have to have well documented that. So, people like to say, well, I don't like sticky on my hands either, and I'm not autistic, as though it dismisses the person who's autistic. It's not the same thing.
It's just one thing of many things.
It means nothing.
They're not going to run down the entire list in one go. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not like if you have a whole list of things that you do, and let's say you have 10 of them, and most of them are just walking on the grass or hanging out with friends and stuff, and then there's 2 that are just washing hands or something. They're not going to diagnose you with autism because it's oh, you got one thing, here you go, you got autism.
Yeah, even 2 things, it's not the same thing. So, you could have a similar trait, doesn't mean anything. It just means, that particular thing bothers you.
Next thing is listen to music.
Thank you, Maria, for the super sticker.
Thanks.
Thank you. Listen to music. My greatest weapon against sensory overloads is music. I find that listening to music distracts me from focusing on my sensory discomfort and helps to block out noise. Listening to music also makes me happy. Yeah, that's me too. Whenever I just am mad at something, I just go into my room and listen to some music and read something, and then I'm just like, hey. And I totally forget about what just happened. Communicate. Make sure that you communicate as much information as you can about your sensory sensitivities. Provide your family, teachers, and friends with a detailed description of your particular sensory sensitivities. I often assume that other people experience the world in the same way that I do.
Peggy ML says, in honor, she sent a super chat, in honor of Autism Month, Anna and my 2 grandchildren who are on the spectrum. Thank you so much, Peggy.
Thank you.
Yay, thank you so much. Says, I often assume that other people experience the world in the same way I do. They don't. It's up to you to spell it out to them. Be very specific. The more information you provide to those around you, the better their understanding will be of your sensory triggers and how they affect you. But the thing is, sometimes you just shouldn't explain every little detail because they'll get bored with it and they'll be like, okay, thanks for sharing, and then you just keep going. Okay, gotta go now, and then you just keep going on. So that's why it's sometimes not good to do.
That is called info dumping, and we love to do that, don't we?
Yeah.
We want you to have all the details, but sometimes you guys don't want them.
Just cut to the chase.
I love it. I like sharing everything in my head because I'm excited about it, so you must be too, right?
No. We want the summary. We want the short version.
He's always like, yeah, just get to the point of your little story about hypothesis. But I can't do that. I gotta tell you everything.
Thank you so much, Bev, for the super sticker.
Thank you.
Once they're aware of your sensory triggers, they'll be in a much better position to support you and help you manage them. Turn your bedroom into a sensory haven.
What?
Turn your bedroom into a sensory haven.
That's kind of what yours is, kind of, isn't it? And your calming corner.
Yeah. Do you know what I would like more than that? My little magical altar. Since the outside world can be a traumatic sensory experience, it's important to have a sanctuary. My bedroom is a place where I can go to soothe and calm myself. A place where I can recharge. There are no fluorescent lights and unpleasant noises and smells. It's a place where I can completely control. When creating your sensory haven, design it so the space works for you. Small changes can have major results. Keep in mind that different colors can create different moods. I've painted my room a grayish blue because shades of blue are supposed to be more relaxing. Determine whether you feel more positive, relaxed, and in control of your room is messy or tidy.
Is what?
It says determine whether you feel more positive, relaxed, and in control of your room is messy or tidy.
Is messy or tidy. Yeah. It's interesting because our bedrooms are predominantly blue.
Mm-hmm.
We just kind of went that route.
Yeah.
It's nice.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mine is like a grayish blue too.
Thank you, Martha. Martha sent a super chat autism month. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks. Where was I? It says, I feel better when my room is tidy, and so I try to keep it that way. The most important thing is to create a room that has positive energy, where you feel comfortable and secure. I don't like to bring negative energy into my positive space. So if I'm having a bad time at school, I don't do my homework in my bedroom. There are many ways to bring positive vibes and associations into your room. For example, if I buy a Kylie lip kit or something else I have been eagerly awaiting, I open the package in my room. I play music in my bedroom all the time. I also always have my trusted companion Rico in my room.
Do you have a Kula in your room?
Yes.
And lots of other stuff.
Yes. But there was something that I would like more than a stuffy. A servant robot.
Servant robots. Wouldn't we all?
It's just like, go wash the dishes. 4. Get plenty of sleep. Like many autistic people, I have trouble sleeping. Sometimes it's because I'm obsessively worrying about something. If you're being kept awake by a worry, write it down on a piece of paper, fold it several times, and place it on the floor by your bedroom door. Tell yourself that there's nothing more you can do about it, and that you'll try to sort it out in the morning.
Ooh, that's a nice, neat little tip. Huh. Kind of get it out of your head, set it aside physically, that helps you set it aside mentally. I like that.
Yeah.
Just write it on a little slip of paper and then fold it up and toss it by your door.
Or if you have a journal that you keep next to your bed, which is a great thing too, you can always write it in there.
I have a dream diary. Tell yourself, okay. Some people find that melatonin sprays or tablets help them to fall asleep. I swear by weighted blankets initially. I was skeptical, but I've been converted. I have a soft, fluffy, gray 10-pound weighted blanket that provides just enough pressure to anchor, calm, and soothe me. If you frequently have trouble sleeping, I highly recommend that you try one.
I've been afraid to try a weighted blanket because I get so claustrophobic and I also get so hot. I don't know if you would like one because you already have CAFOs all over your legs, and you didn't like it when Gemelli, who was trained to give you distraction, was laying on your legs. So I didn't think you would like a weighted blanket either.
Well, she doesn't have insomnia.
Right.
So,
no, but I mean, it's just soothing. It's not necessarily just for insomnia. Right. I don't know how many of you out there have weighted blankets, and if you like them or not, I'd be interested to hear.
Relate to what she said about not being able to fall asleep.
Mm-hmm.
That's sometimes me. I usually stay awake for like 45 minutes to like an hour and a half, just being awake, thinking about other stuff, and I can never just go to sleep.
Yeah. But then when you do go to sleep, you sleep like the unalived.
Like
you
a log.
Sleep for 10, 12 hours like a log, yeah.
I'm just like... It's true. Okay. It's also important that you get into the right state of mind. If you're a visual thinker, visualize your perfect place. Focus on what you see, what you can smell and hear, and how you feel. If any bad thoughts creep in, banish them and focus on your perfect place. This will help to calm and soothe you and make it easier for you to fall asleep. Maybe I should try that.
Yeah.
So I always tell you to go on adventures in your mind.
Yeah, but sometimes the adventures don't help me fall asleep. They just make me stay awake more.
you're thinking about it and all that.
Yeah, it's just I need to not think about anything. Just think about going to sleep, which I barely can't. I can't really do that. And so that's what makes it hard.
Susan says audiobooks are great for busy minds at night with a timer. Honestly, Susan, it really depends on the person. It's great for some people. Some people tend to fall asleep listening to reading or fall asleep watching television. Like for me, I know it's horrible. I can't stand listening to audiobooks to begin with, but the noise, like the voice just over and over, it grates on me and it will keep me awake. And same thing with I tend to not fall asleep that much with the television either because kind of like the droning sound keeps me awake. But what does work for me personally is a fan because it's like white noise. Yeah, not voices.
Just
I can't do voices.
Like a constant sound. To me, I'm the opposite. I go to sleep almost instantaneously if I have a podcast on or.
Yeah, sometimes I have. There has been a couple times where I've been reading a book while I'm stretching and then I just fall asleep. I don't know how, but.
Melissa says she has a way to blink it. It helps her with her leg spasms. That's great.
Yeah, I would like to try a way to blink it.
You would?
Yeah.
All right.
I would like to try it. I'm not sure if it would work, but I would like to try it.
You overheat very easily. So that would be my primary concern is that it would make you too hot. And also remember the fact that the only blankets we've ever been able to use with you since you had your surgery were your handmade quilts because everything else gets tangled up in your CAFO hardware.
True.
Yeah.
Another thing, number 5, is use your clothes as a shield. My skin is particularly sensitive, especially to wind and temperature variations. I try to cover my skin as much as possible because I hate the sensation of someone lightly brushing against my skin. It feels like hundreds of insects are crawling on the area where I was touched. I find that clothing is a great way to create a protective barrier. I rarely wear shorts or tank tops, even on a blisteringly hot summer day. I always layer and try to wear a front zip hoodie. Even in the summer? Who do you think you are? Some weird cold person that's all around and doesn't want anything?
Hey, whatever
She's
works.
talking about how it helps prevent from having sensory overload of people touching or things touching their skin.
It says,
Do you understand that at all? Like you don't have that specific thing, but other people do, right? And so if that's a way to help protect, keep that from becoming an issue, then it's a good solution, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's like your headphones when we go to Disney sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
Fireworks or like the saw when you're getting your cast cut off. Yeah.
Now I don't need it anymore if I go to with that exact same saw.
But you understand that
you understand the need for it.
Yeah. And now I'm not so scared of it anymore because I know how it works and I know it's not going to cut me.
Well, you still don't like the noise, but you're able to tolerate it because you've been doing it for so long.
And also, it's just when it touches like the stockinette, when it gets past that wool layer and it touches the stockinette, it vibrates against my skin, and that's what I don't like about it is when it vibrates against my skin.
Yeah,
that's the worst part of it for me, at least. It says I always layer and try to wear a front zip hoodie so that I have an additional layer of clothing if I get cold. And I have a makeshift cushion if I have to sit on an uncomfortable chair. Yes, you said that about your little safety thing bag. Manage your anxiety. Mommy, this part is for you too. The best way to prevent your sensory sensitivities from getting out of control is by managing your anxiety. I find that when my anxiety levels are high, my sensory sensitivities become much worse. Suddenly, I'm unable to tolerate things that usually don't bother me. My sensory intolerances have been at their absolute worst when I've been bullied. Sometimes situations that cause us anxiety are out of our control, but when possible, reducing your anxiety will also reduce your sensory overloads.
Well, that makes a lot of sense as to why my sensory is always like on high alert, because my anxiety is usually higher too.
Mm-hmm.
And then if there's stress, any kind of stressor,
It spikes.
yeah.
My alertness is always on low. I can't change it. It's just on or off. And if it's on low. I only turn it off at nighttime if I can do whatever I can to limit my brain usage. Says, and last one, avoid places that trigger sensitivity overloads. There are some places that are a sensory nightmare. For me, it's supermarkets. I also hate gas stations. I loathe the smell of gasoline. It's usually easy to avoid going to places that trigger your sensory overloads. Having said that, it's important that you don't make your list too long, because otherwise there's danger you'll never venture beyond your doorstep.
I've been there, done that.
Mm.
There was a period of like 3 years where I rarely left the house.
Wow. It's tough.
Unless we need to do medical stuff.
No, not while you were alive. This was a long time ago when the older 2 kids were little. It was when I started having my panic attacks.
Oh.
It's because I was scared to death that every time I would walk out the door with 2 little kids in tow by myself, that I would have a panic attack and black out. And then they would be there like unattended while I'm like
Wow.
I couldn't go anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
I got through it though. I worked it out.
Good.
Got to the point where I felt like my anxiety and panic attacks were manageable and I understood them and felt more comfortable going out again. And yeah, by the time you came along, I had to work through my anxiety when you were little, because we had to travel so much for your medical care, and I had to travel alone with you. And that was really scary at first. But then, like anything with anxiety, the more you do it, the more confident you feel about it.
Just prove to yourself that you'll be okay.
Yep. Every time you do it without an issue and you prove to yourself you can do it, and the more and more, it's like exposure therapy for anxiety. You have to, because otherwise you just kind of fall into this anxiety trap. But if you keep doing it and prove to yourself that you can do it more and more, then your anxiety gets less and less with that particular thing.
That's cool.
Mm-hmm. We've got 8 more pages until we're done with the chapter. So you want to keep going after the full chapter?
No, let's do the 8 pages and then we'll say goodnight, because it's getting late already.
And while I need to actually get some hydration water. I'm so thirsty.
Okay, we'll finish your water that you have first before Daddy
it's
can
done.
Oh, okay.
You're not going to be able to.
Yeah, you might
Turn
have
the camera off if you're able to.
No.
I mean, you can have, I'll put some of my water into your thing.
mean,
Because then I won't leave.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Go ahead, Anna. Let's finish up, because it's already 10:15 and you've got to stretch. So let's finish up the chapter and then we can say goodnight.
After I get a little drink here.
Yeah, it makes it hard. I would jump in camera with her, but I'm in my nightgown. You guys don't want to see that.
They would love to.
No, they would not. All right, let's go.
Okay. She said, I hope that some of these suggestions will be helpful. Don't be afraid to modify them and to experiment with different options until you identify techniques and solutions that work for you. Next section, sensitivity to light. I'm very sensitive to light. If you're sensitive to, I highly recommend that you invest in a pair of good quality polarized sunglasses. Be sure to experiment with different tinted lenses so you can find a color tint that works for you. If you have prescription glasses, I recommend that you get prescription sunglasses. I wear my sunglasses outdoors all the time. Not only do they look cool, but they also really help to protect against visual overloads.
Do you have sensitivity to light?
I mean, sometimes it's the only time I ever have sensitivity to light is when I've been like sleeping or something, or like my eyes are closed and it's just dark, and then I open my eyes and it's just there's like lights on everywhere. Then I'm like, what's happening? Turn these off. Why is there so much stuff on right now?
Yeah, that's not been too much of an issue with you. It's more of my issue with light.
Yeah, you're just like, turn off all the lights.
They actually make fun of me. These two, they call me a mole person because I like it darker.
Like, you'll have some light on as long as it's super dim. Like, you always have the lights in the family room at like 30%. Okay. The most common source of light sensitivity is fluorescent lights. Fluorescent lighting is really intense and harsh. I hate fluorescent lights. They flicker and emit a low-pitched hum that most people can't hear.
Oh, I hate that one.
I find the flickering and hum extremely distracting.
Mm-hmm.
They can also cause me to feel nauseous, get headaches, and feel dizzy.
Yeah, our light in the dining room does that, and it drives me up the wall. The flickering and the buzzing, and I don't like it at all.
Yeah, I don't like the flickering. I can't hear the buzzing, so I don't know about that, but I don't like the flickering. It's like, can't we ever have an amazing dinner with no lights flickering around? Unfortunately, avoiding fluorescent lighting is almost impossible because most places have fluorescent lighting, especially schools. However, I have found that Ireland? Erwin? I don't know how to
I can't say what you're pointing
I wasn't pointing at anything.
at. Ireland? I don't know.
Ireland?
Just skip it and keep going.
That some kind of glasses really helped. The colored lenses filter out wavelengths of light that create visual stress and overload. Next section, sensitivity to sound. Yes, that is me. I am very sensitive to sound. I have very sensitive hearing. Loud sounds can cause me physical pain. But even soft sounds can be distressing. I hate the sound of footsteps, the humming of electricity, whistling, any kind of slamming back to you. Whenever Dad even just lightly closes the door, you're like, what? Why would you slam it?
I don't like being startled. I can't handle being startled.
It says, where was I?
You should put your finger where you're reading so when you come back to the page, you know where you're at.
It's any kind of slamming, the sound of something that has been dropped, running water, extractor fans, the sound a zipper makes, the tapping of feet, slurping, even saying the word is unpleasant, the sound of the words Q and conundrum?
What?
Conundrum?
No,
Where are you? I don't know where you're at.
maybe.
Yeah, conundrum.
Conundrum.
The cracking of knuckles, the sound of plumbing, clocks ticking, the sound of my heartbeat, the sound of metal clashing. The list is infinite.
Yeah.
Infinite.
Yeah.
Infinite.
I get so much of that.
You don't like pretty much any sounds, except for the sound.
I don't like
keys clicking.
repetitive sounds.
You don't like pen clicking, I know.
Oh gosh, no. Pen clickers. No. Daddy likes to, he does this self-soothing thing where he rubs his feet together, but it makes this sound. drives me up the wall. Drives me up like I'm like a cat clinging to the ceiling. Arrgh! It's like nails on a chalkboard.
I only do it in a visual way. It's just like, stop it. Why are you doing that?
Yeah, if it's a visual distraction for you, that makes sense.
Yeah, it's not necessarily a sound for me, but it's definitely. I'm a very visual person based on the Temple Grandin test I took in my class.
Mm-hmm.
I was leaning more towards the visual side.
Do you have any kind of sound? You typically don't even hear the sounds. Do you have any kind of...
I mean, you're talking to a guy who worked with dogs barking all through the day and just was able to just...
Tune it out.
Yeah, tune it out.
But the thing is, with me, there are certain sounds I don't like. Like there's like, I don't like anything that's like mechanic motors.
Yes, that is all since day one, since you were very, very, very small, just months old. Any kind of mechanical toys or whirring sounds, it freaks you out to the point of hyper panic.
Even the little alligator thing that when you pulled it, it opened its mouth and shut it.
Well, now it's like when you go into the restrooms, the air hand blower things, or if
she'll be like, "Don't flush that toilet!
Yeah,
don't flush that toilet!"
Super loud flusher. Yeah. Like whenever you go to a new restroom, you want to make sure it's not like super loud.
Remember you renamed, remember when we went to that one Airbnb when we were on our way back from New York to Michigan?
Yeah.
And it had the flushers on the top of the tank. It had 1 and 2. Yeah. And you called it the princess flush. You said she likes the princess flush.
Well, that's
not the big loud flush. Yeah. Not the industrial.
Yeah.
It says, I also have difficulty filtering out background noise. When I'm in a crowded place, such as a restaurant or at school, I can get overwhelmed by people's conversations. Voices are magnified. I can hear each of their conversations, which can lead to feeling as if I'm about to short circuit. For example, on the subway, I can hear dozens of people's conversations. I can hear their breathing and the chewing of gum. I can hear the music leaking from their headsets, their footsteps, and the rustling of newspapers. I find it impossible to screen out noise, especially when I get anxious. Ironically, the more anxious I get, the more sensitive my hearing becomes, which then makes me even more anxious. It's a vicious circle. For this reason that I use music to block the noise.
So it's funny because that's why I can't listen to the radio in the car, because my anxiety is heightened from driving and being hyper focused on the road, and it's a total distraction for me. So I have to turn off the radio so I can see better.
But we've driven in the car with the music on, and you didn't.
But it was casual, like side roads. It wasn't freeway. It wasn't high stress driving. Got it. If I'm just on like some country side road, I don't have to really worry about much.
Before like in a crazy freeway or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, if it's like a crazy freeway, then she's like, what do I do? Turn that off.
Or if we're following very specific directions and there's a lot of chaos and I have to figure out where to go, that's when I'm like, everybody be quiet. I gotta focus.
Okay.
Don't read the comic because it's they can't see it.
So it says, okay. The only way to prevent auditory overloads is to avoid going to loud and crowded places. If you want to go somewhere that might be loud and crowded, I suggest that you plan ahead and get creative. For example, if you're going to a restaurant, go at a time when it's less likely to be busy, or ask to sit in a quieter section. If you want to go to a theme park, go on a day when it's raining. Very likely to be fewer people.
Yeah.
When I'm at school and I get overwhelmed by boisterous teens, I like to escape to the library or the medical center. Quiet and calm places where I can compose myself and recharge. Another way of filtering out distressing sounds is to wear noise-canceling headsets. I have those. They're very good at neutralizing and filtering out noise. Sensitivity to smell. Next is the next thing. The next one is totally me. Okay, so for sensitivity to smell, I have a very sensitive sense of smell. It is likely that you do too. I have a strong aversion to certain odors that I find repulsive. For example, the smell of gasoline, Sharpie pens, glue, Coca-Cola, sauerkraut, tuna, people's breath, artificial strawberry scents, most cleaning products, most perfumes, and the smell of taxis. The smell of lots of people in a confined space. On the flip side, my acute sense of smell also means that I can really enjoy and appreciate smells too. I love the smell of books, freshly cut grass, wet paint, and burning wood.
Books, freshly cut grass, a fresh box of crayons. Those are some of the best smells in the world.
What about burning wood?
Burning wood is okay, but I love the smell of like fresh paper. This Xerox paper you used to get off the Ditto machine when we were in like elementary and middle school. I like that smell, the toner.
Yeah.
I like the smell of after it rains and freshly cut grass.
Yeah.
And I like the smell of when it's raining. And I like the smell of lavender. Speaking of lavender, I just wanted to say that I forgot to tell you that I just was wondering if there was like little mini bottles of the little Downing Unstoppables lavender scented, so you can use that whenever I do my lickies.
Yeah, I like that. You know, the fact that I love the smell of fresh cut grass so much makes me sad.
Makes you sad.
It makes me sad because the smell that grass emits when you cut it, it's a trauma response by the grass. Makes me feel like I'm relishing in the plant's pain.
It makes me
suffering.
Makes me sad because then I get hay fever.
You are weird. It says the best way to neutralize offensive smells is to have aromatherapy sprays and roll-ons in your survival kit. Rolling the oil onto your nose will help to block out unpleasant smells. Yes, you said that earlier. Mm-hmm. This section is totally me. Totally me.
Let's hear it.
Sensitivity to textures and taste.
Offbeat Rock, thank you for the super chats and happy weekend.
Yay! Happy weekend. Sensitivity to textures and taste. Autistic children are notorious for being picky eaters. Many autistic children have a restrictive diet because they find most foods intolerable. This is partly due to the texture of certain foods. I really dislike slimy foods such as cooked tomatoes, cucumbers. Okay. I do not like hot tomatoes.
Yeah, I don't like hot tomatoes either.
But the thing is, she doesn't like hot tomatoes or cucumbers, and we love cucumbers.
Yeah, that's okay. We don't like hot tomatoes. And Uncle Austin doesn't like any uncooked tomato. He can't do. What? Mm-hmm. He's always been that way. It's like one of his worst texture triggers.
My bronco is the exact opposite of me then.
In that one regard, yes.
Yes. Except for when I look like Austin in the security cameras in the living room. It always says I'm Austin. I really dislike slimy food such as cooked tomatoes, cucumbers, canned fruit, and okra. I also really dislike the texture of foam and anything sprinkled with powdered sugar. As long as you're eating a balanced diet, don't feel bad about eating a limited range of foods. You're not being unadventurous or difficult. You're accommodating your sensory sensitivities. Another important point to consider in relation to food is that it is extremely common for autistic people to have stomach and intestinal problems.
Oh,
interesting.
I didn't know that. You have never really had too many stomach or intestinal problems. I have, but it's mostly because I'm allergic to milk, and Uncle Austin too, allergic to milk when he was a kid. Huh.
The only stomach problem I have is that it's too tiny. I can barely even eat all my food if it's on a giant.
So wait a minute. How is this section so you? You're not a picky eater. The only strong flavors that you have issues with are like olives.
No, textures and taste.
Oh, texture.
It's textures of some foods that I don't like.
Like what?
And it's like textures of anything. I do not like slime.
Mhm.
I do not like spiderweb textures.
Mhm. Sicky.
No, it's weird. Like I like silk. I love silk. It's amazing, but I just don't like touching it.
How come you don't like cool whipped cream? Is that a texture thing?
No, I don't know. I don't know. It's just I don't like it.
You're not
I
even
don't
sure
know.
why.
I don't know why I don't like it, but it's just I don't like it.
What about biscuits? Why don't you like biscuits?
No, I mean I do like biscuits, but it's not like I love them.
Yeah.
A lot of times when I ask if you want biscuits, you always say no. Though.
It's just not her favorite thing. She's not what she. Aaron's just like, I don't understand. I love biscuits.
Yeah.
It's just because that's the thing about most people who don't know autism a lot too. They relate to their own experiences. So that's why they think that what we're saying is wrong, because they're relating to their own experiences.
Well, everybody
That's
relates.
essentially with you. You're relating to your own experiences that you love biscuits. But
That's not a neurotypical versus neurodiverse thing. That's everyone relates to their own experiences because that's all they have to relate
Right.
to.
Like you would probably think that of me. It's like, why are you bothered by this? Because it doesn't bother me.
Daddy's got the big major things that he loves and the things that he doesn't like carrot cake. All right, what else we got?
What about cucumber cake? Is that even a thing? She said maybe that you're avoiding certain foods because your body doesn't tolerate them very well. I found that avoiding dairy products has helped reduce my stomach problems. That's you, because there's milk that you can't have.
Yeah.
Okay, next section. Sensitivity to touch. That is also me. Autistic children are also notorious for their tactile themselves. No, for their tactile sensitivities.
Tactile, yeah.
Tactile sensitivities, which can range from being undersensitive to being oversensitive. My sister happens to be undersensitive. She has a high threshold for pain and barely feels the cold. She goes out in the winter wearing a flimsy summer dress and often refuses to wear a coat, which really bothers my mom. When she was younger, she would hug us really tightly and would insist that my mom squeeze her hand harder and harder because she claimed that she couldn't feel her hand being held. My sister loved to wear clothes that were way too tight and too small for her. She was also frequently hungry, even immediately after she had just eaten. She claimed she didn't feel full. That's weird. As my sister has gotten older, her undersensitivity has improved. Good. I'm the polar opposite of my sister. I'm oversensitive. I find touch so uncomfortable and painful that I dislike being touched and avoid touching others. Even greeting someone with a handshake is painful and distressing. I've only recently learned to tolerate being hugged. There was a time where I couldn't wear my hair down. The sensation of having my hairbrush against my neck or face felt like being sliced with shards of glass. Yeah, that's also a little bit me. I hate it. I do not like my hair being brushed one bit. As the only time I do like my hair being brushed is if there's no tangles in it. That's
Which
the
is
only
rare.
time. Yeah.
I mean, because every time you brush your hair, there's going to be some
tangles.
Yeah.
That's the only time I actually like it. What was it? I am still traumatized by an incident that happened in nursery school. We were using glue for an art project. I accidentally spilled white PVA glue all over my hands. I was desperate to get it off my hands and asked my teacher for permission to wash my hands. She refused. She told me that there was no point because I would only end up getting more glue on my hands. I was distraught. I remember spending the rest of the activity crying, something I rarely do. I was despondent about having the horrendous sensation of sticky, gooey glue hardening on my skin. If you're oversensitive, you may have trouble tolerating clothes such as tags and seams. That is so me. I hate tags. They're just like annoying. It's just like it's poking me. Why do you even do this? Can't you just hang the tag on the outside and then take it off when you're gonna wear it or something? Like that's what most people do. They just put the tag on the outside when it's ready to sell, right? Can't you just do that and not put the one on the inside?
Well, there's the inside tags are like care labels and size labels and stuff, but a lot of companies now have learned to just like either print it in the garment or yeah.
Yeah, that's why I actually like my Bella Blue Bear pajamas and I want to wear them every day because one, they don't have tags poking me, and two, they're just super fluffy and
soft and cozy. Yeah. Yep.
If you're oversensitive, you may have trouble tolerating clothes such as tags and seams, wool, synthetic materials such as nylon and polyester, lace, and elastics. This can make buying clothes that don't cause discomfort or pain very challenging. We're often very restricted in what we can wear, especially since many of us find man-made synthetic materials itchy and scratchy.
I cannot stand itchy, scratchy clothing materials like corduroy, no wool. I can't handle anything tight. No remote amount of tightness at all. Nothing that comes anywhere near my neck. I don't like winter coats because it's too confining and claustrophobic.
That's why you never go outside.
That's why I never wear a coat. I usually wear a hoodie if I go out in the winter.
But if you actually did go out in the winter and you didn't want to be as cold as you were in the hoodie, you'd probably have to wear a coat.
I wouldn't. I'd just freeze.
You just go out there and then a few days later, Daddy comes back and he sees you just...
Oh yeah, Darlene says, I don't like the way corduroy sounds. I wouldn't be able to handle that either.
Jamali, she's like, no. I've learned to buy clothes made from natural, breathable fabrics, such as fabrics made of 100% organic cotton. Yeah, I like cotton better. It's much softer. One trick that has really helped me is to wash clothes many, many times with an unscented non-bio laundry detergent before wearing them. I find that this makes them so much softer and more comfortable to wear.
Yeah, you break down the stiffness of the fiber. Is that the end of the...
No, I got like...
No, I'm talking about, is that the end of that section?
Yes.
Do you want to stop for the night?
I mean, if you want to.
It's up to you. You don't have to keep reading if you're getting tired of it. We can do it next time.
I mean, I'm not getting tired. It's just, do you want me to stop? Is it kind of getting late?
It is. Yeah, it's 10:40, so you need to go to bed and stretch. And we've been on for an hour already. We can pick it up next time.
Do you think I could do this next section, or
how much is after that?
I think it's just the next page.
No. Oh, is it the next page? She's done.
No.
Yeah. See.
Anna, move here.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Okay, go. It's one more section. Go ahead and finish up.
2 more. 1, 2.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, let's do it.
Okay, last one for this one, and then there's sensitivity to sights. Many autistic people are visual thinkers. That's me. We can recall a vivid image of what we have seen. It is if our mind takes a photograph. Definitely me. It's like a screen cap. It just, there, I took a picture of Jamali being a weirdo. A great benefit to being a visual thinker is that you can use this ability to alter your mood and lift your spirits. If you want to feel better, look at an image that makes you feel happy. Look at a photo of your family on an awesome holiday, or pictures of puppies, or pandas, or of nature. When you're feeling down, an easy way to boost your mood is to recall these images and focus on them. I like to recall unflattering images of my dog Rico fast asleep, with his tongue sticking out. This image of him always makes me smile. Next time you're feeling down, try recalling an image that will make you smile. While there are many benefits to being a visual thinker, There's also a major drawback. If we see something unpleasant, the negative image will be etched in our memory and can haunt us. I sometimes inadvertently end up watching a few seconds of a horror movie trailer when watching something unrelated on YouTube. For example,
go. Don't let the music play, because then we're gonna get.
Yeah.
Can you talk over it?
Talk over it, please.
Come on, Anna.
It says, for example, I saw the diabolical clown from Stephen King's It movie when the trailer unexpectedly appeared on my screen. The image petrifies me, especially since it pops into my head at the most unexpected times. Unfortunately, there is no way of erasing the image. If you're a visual thinker too, be careful about what you look at. I would suggest that you avoid watching horror movies or gory crime dramas. Autism-friendly safe spaces. Some businesses and public places are finally starting to recognize that autistic people's lives can sometimes be severely curtailed by their sensory sensitivities and have started to create a more welcoming and inclusive environment for us. In England, some supermarket chains and shopping malls have introduced a quiet hour for autistic shoppers who struggle with noise and crowds. The supermarkets dim the lights, turn off the music, reduce the use of trolleys, turn off the loudspeaker, and turn down the checkout beeps. Many nationwide cinemas have also introduced regular autism-friendly screenings. Museums and airports are also starting to accommodate autistic people. Some airports, including...
Why are you doing that?
Because I like it.
Stop it.
I can't.
Anna.
Come on, finish up. You got a couple more sentences.
It says, some airports, including Heathrow Airport and Ireland's Shannon Airport, Heathrow, have created sensory rooms or quiet rooms for autistic children.
Well, that's nice. At the airport, that's a great place for a sensory room.
Yeah, that would be definitely
Airport's
needed.
overwhelming for anyone.
Although we are still a long way from living in a society that creates a supportive and inclusive environment for autistic people, autism quiet hours and safe spaces are a step in the right direction.
That was a good
Yeah,
chapter. I like that chapter.
Long
Very nice.
chapter.
But it was good.
You
Great
got through it,
information.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank everyone for listening to you read for such a long time. It's very cool. Everybody to hang out.
Thank
Until
you.
the end. Anna.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, guys, we will see you tomorrow. If you're part of the subgroup, we have Sub Live Saturday tomorrow. And the rest of you, we will see you on Tuesday, right? Is
Yep.
the next public live.
Yep.
Sub Live is Monday, right?
Yeah.
Regular
And
live
then we
is
have
Tuesday.
a Zoom. Also.
Oh, and we have Zoom, yes, tomorrow night with our upper level subscribers. Yes. So some of you will see you this weekend. The rest of you have a wonderful weekend, and we'll see you next week. Goodbye.
Bye.